growing up, whether it be through movies or media or through other sources of culture, we grew up thinking that being whiter is better. And whether that be culturally or even physically, I kind of grew up with that mentality. And that was reinforced by my family and, my peers, like my classmates. And so I kind of grew up with thinking that, if I was more white, if I was more cultured, if I did things that were more, seen as high culture in Canadian society, that I would be seen as better. And that obviously was not true. And especially seeing, like my cousins or like my peers who were darker than me, like get put down, it made me realize how embedded it was in my culture and how embedded colonialism even was in my own culture. And even now, like, it's still really hard to decolonize that mentality of even, like, my parents are from Afghanistan, so there are a lot of misconceptions about Afghanistan. Like, for example, it's probably a really unsafe country, or that they oppress women and so, and, to some, it's probably not the best country in the world, but at the same time, there are a lot of amazing individuals who live in that country, and I'm only starting to realize that, that what I've been told, both by my own family and both by the media, that that's not really how the country that my parents were born in is. And as you notice that I say that's the country that my parents were born in, and that's how I was raised to think, that, like, Afghanistan is just the country that my parents were born in, but I'm born in this country, so that makes me different, and that means that I have no connection whatsoever to that country, when in reality I do have a connection, and I did grow up in that culture. And honestly, like, if there wasn't a war in Afghanistan, I probably wouldn't be here. I would probably be in Afghanistan, and I really am a settler. And in the words of someone else who is also an Afghan, that I really am like a displaced person that is living in a colonized land. And although that's a little bit far from how I grew up thinking, as the days pass and the way that I notice my culture, it seems to get closer and closer to that. And whether that be through, like, having conversations with my grandma, or trying to learn more Afghan phrases, or, listening to more Afghan music and appreciating the phrases and the beautiful poems that exist, I think I'm slowly getting there. And yeah.